4 days from now, December the 14th, marks the 116th anniversary of the day that the Wright brothers performed man's first flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. December seems to be a month for historic events, because today the news has been released that the very first semi-truck has completed a self-driving coast-to-coast commercial freight. Now, this isn't actually the first time that a self-driving vehicle has made the coast-to-coast trip. That actually happened in 2015 with a car designed by Delphi Automotive. But nonetheless, this trip is historic for many different reasons because, of course, the number one job in 29 states is truck driving. 2, all of the goods in this were perishable, and it made the trip in 3 days' time. Plus AI announced on Tuesday that the startup completed a cross-country trip from Tulare, California to Pennsylvania to deliver a truckload of Land O'Lakes butter. According to the announcement, the trip took fewer than 3 days and accounted for the first time a Level 4 self-driving system handled a commercial freight trip. The cherry atop of the achievement was the fact that this truck carried perishable goods. Plus AI's suite of technology is called SLAM, a fun acronym for Multimodal Sensor Fusion, Deep Learning Visual Algorithms, and Simultaneous Location and Mapping. With this system, the Semi handled 2,800 miles of driving primarily in autonomous mode. The startup told Roadshow that there were 0 disengagements from the autonomous system, and the only time the human driver took over was for federally mandated brakes and refueling. I'd really like to know what they mean by federally mandated brakes and refueling. Refueling makes sense until we have the self-finding chargers that Tesla's working on. You have seen those, right? That's pretty cool, huh? I'm pretty sure the entire state of New Jersey just had a collective stroke, though. But anyways, until we have the infrastructure to provide that at every gas station, of course the human's going to need to refuel. But for federally mandated brakes, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because clearly these cars can continue to drive as long as they want. I know that humans have to stop every 11 hours and have a 10-hour break in between driving, so it doesn't make sense that there would be federally mandated brakes, unless I'm just missing something. The article continues, it's a mighty achievement noting the things the technology needed to handle. The truck operated during the day and at night and was unfazed by elevation changes and road construction. Rain and snow were also tossed into the mix, and inclement weather remains an area self-driving cars have been known to be somewhat unproven in. Many companies are itching to find efficiency gains in shipping goods autonomously. Without a driver, there's no need to stop for a shipment for rest, bathroom breaks, or food. The flip side of what the technology will mean for the truck drivers is far less clear. And if I can just add on to the end of this article here, it's not just the driver, the bathroom breaks and the food also include the thousands of highway towns that rely on the traffic coming to and fro. You don't have the driver, you don't have that traffic. It's the number one job in 29 states, and it's also a reliable source of income for thousands of highway towns. And this is the historic day that all of this is starting on. So where is all the coverage? Where are all of our politicians talking about what we will do to deal with the effects of this, the fourth industrial revolution? You know, it's so funny. I was making this video about Waymo cars when I saw this news. Look at this. This is a self-driving Waymo vehicle in Phoenix, Arizona, yielding to a traffic stop in a school zone, yielding to children. There's no one in the front seat. Do you see that? There is no one there. Our children are in front of these vehicles, and they are safer than humans. This should be fantastic news. This should be being blasted from every news source in the world. 45,000 people in the United States alone die from traffic-related incidents. The only reason that we need traffic lights to begin with is because I can't communicate with a person in a car outside of me, and we need an arbitrary third thing to tell us when to stop and when to go. These cars talk to each other. They can start at the same time. You no longer have to wait for the person in front of you to start after the person in front of them starts. You can eliminate traffic for most of the country, and possibly even in some of the highest density population cities. The groundbreaking historic changes that the Wright brothers pulled off in 1903 starts today for our generation. This is setting off the next 10 years. The 2020s are being defined by today. And how are we preparing for it? What politicians are even coming up with anything remotely sane that could deal with this kind of issue other than Andrew Yang? I suppose if you're voting for Bernie, don't worry, all of these millions of people will be given a shovel to go off and do a federally mandated job or something, instead of being able to spend those 11 hours of the day that they're driving with their families, being a caretaker, or finding something else that gives them joy in what they're doing. Technological progress should be being used to free humans up to do things that make them passionate, or to focus on problems that are bigger than the mundane. And I want other people to be able to do what drives them, what makes them passionate. I've got nothing against federal jobs programs, and hell yes, let's go ahead and fund more programs like that, but let's also give people the ability to decide for themselves how they want to provide value in this world. And as long as it's within the confines of the law, I don't see a problem with that, because value is something that can be changed, and people find value in so many ways that just isn't rewarded with a paycheck. And when the number one job in 29 states can be done by an algorithm, I see no reason why we can't do this. I'm recording this video at 1:58 p.m. Eastern Time, and in about an hour I've been told that we have another poll, a qualifying poll, and we will see if Andrew Yang qualifies. And I suppose if he doesn't, we still have another day or two after that. But, I'm going to pause the recording here, and the next thing you see will be my reaction. And I just hope that that reaction is a befitting one to the historic news that has happened today. And I hope that I am in a much better state of mind than I am right now. All right, poll time. 3, 2. I never doubted him for a second.